Beautiful souls. Happy Tuesday and welcome back to the Love Shack studio. I hope everyone is doing well and feeling fantastic, especially after the wild energies that have and really continue to flow in from this past weekend's blood moon eclipse in the sign of Pisces, bringing in with it a big flow of emotions. And now we're stepping into this new light, friends. This new light is going to bring with it these grand reveals, big grand reveals, tsunamis of truth, basically. Another huge opportunity of ascension that's upon us as well. Now, in my September forecast, I predicted that we would see so many collapses and fall of leaders this month. It's a double 9 vibration of ending, so it's inevitable that that's going to happen. Now, once again, just within the first week of this month, friends, we had the Prime Minister of Japan that resigned. Yep, they just can't seem to keep prime ministers over there in Japan. The collapse of their government's coming. While we also saw the collapse of the government occurring in France. Isn't that the second time they had that collapse in France? Well, just over a month ago, friends, I predicted that Macron would resign. So is this where France is heading now? A big resignation for Macron? That'd probably do the country a whole lot of good. A whole lot of good. Now, I stated we would be seeing more and more people rising up. Rising up, stepping into their power, and some stepping right into chaos, which would bring about, of course, more protests and protests going sour. Protests across the globe, friends, are getting larger and larger, from New Zealand to Australia, Austria, France, England, Spain, Poland. And the list just keeps going on and growing ever so quickly and rapidly. So what is this all going to lead to? If anything, will it lead to positive change? Because that's certainly what we need. Now, I warned earlier this year that we would see sabotage around underwater cables, internet cables, outages of underwater stuff, including underwater pipelines like we saw in the past with the Nord pipeline. That happened. That was last year. Wasn't that last year? I'm pretty sure that was last year. And I warned about this again. I warned it just recently that we were going to see a lot of things with sabotage underwater and on the water. And we had major, well, not we, but over there in Asia and the Middle East, they had a major underwater internet cable line that was severed in the Red Sea, causing major internet outages throughout Asia and the Middle East. Now, we also had this past week, or last week, the parade celebration in China, followed by Trump's social media post in response, followed by alleged hot mic of Xi Jinping and Putin's conversations. Did you hear about that one? Kind of creepy and interesting all at the same time. So what were they really discussing, Putin and Xi Jinping? Was it true what they were discussing? And all this, friends, while gold and silver continues to rise. Russia just bombed embassies. There was just a major fear attack in Israel. I talked about fear attacks at Israel, and it happened to be at a bus depot, which was an area that I warned, buses in Israel. Now, Gates, the gates of hell, is now banned from West Africa. Hallelujah for the friends in West Africa for banning Gates. And now a new date, friends, apparently is coming. A new date is being put out. They're always being put out. It's kind of interesting. You know what that date's for? Apparently tribulation, friends. The rapture, not tribulation. The rapture, excuse me, because we only just stepped into tribulation. So how could the rapture happen so quickly? And what really is the rapture? I got some news on you about that today. And I can assure you it's not happening on the date that somebody's claiming. I don't even know who the somebody is, but they're claiming it's coming up in September. I forget. I didn't look because I just know it's not true. But I'll give you what Spirit's take is on the whole matter today. Lots to discuss today. So much going on. So let's get started. So much to cover on this episode of Tuesday's Teatime, baby. Hello once again, beautiful tribe. I hope everything has been flowing really well for you over the past week. I know it's been a bit intense. I really hope that you have taken advantage of that blood moon eclipse. I know I sure in the heck have. We're still bathing in that eclipse energy, friends, and the waning moon energy on top of that. Not to mention the double 9 vibration of September. And actually today kicks in the triple 9 vibration. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. All in place Really, basically, friends, this is all in place to assist us. It's here to assist us all in peeling away the layers of this 3D matrix. A great time to let go. Let it go, and prepare us. Let go and prepare us for these new big things that are coming our way. Like little waves, one after another, good waves, both on an individual level, but also on the collective level as well. Now think of the full moon lunar eclipse, an example of life. Think about it. We come from the light. We come from the divine creator, the heavenly realm, where the light is. Just like when you die, go to the light, Carol Ann. We step into the darkness of the womb, but not without first that small spark of light, which has been recorded by scientists. It happens when allegedly the soul enters the womb, which I have no doubt that is it. It's spark of life. Makes total sense. Like the spark when the maximum eclipse happens, especially the solar eclipse. You get that spark of light as soon as the sun is blocked out, showing us, a spark. So finally, then we're born again, friends. We're born again in the new light, a new body. So this eclipse shows us this exact process of life, that it is the process that we are going through and currently ascending out of when it comes to this 3D matrix realm. So it's very symbolic, especially the blood moon representing the blood that flows through us and around us. Amazing times indeed. With both the eclipse energies, the coming equinox and solar eclipse at the end of the month, 21st to 22nd, along with those double 9 vibrations, friends, this month is certainly the most powerful window of time. Perhaps, maybe even in our own lifetimes. Such powerful alignments and energies flowing in. And you may, as I do, feel these layers lifting up all around you. Have you noticed that? I feel these layers just lifting up, peeling off. Now, of course, some of that might have to do with my adventures through Peru. But regardless, you didn't have to go to Peru to experience these layers being lifted up. I think of it as the vulture energy. Now, I work with the vulture. She's tattooed across my back, actually, because the vulture, like the condor, peels away the layers. I use the vulture energy in ceremony because she helps me to peel away the layers that are no longer needed. She also takes away the darkness that needs to be taken away. So if I were to do, say, a shamanic house clearing, and there was a bad entity, or even more so when I do a Ouija board ceremony to get rid of Ouija boards, because there's things attached to Ouija boards. The vulture always shows up. It's pretty ironic. I did one above in someone's house one time, and the vultures, when I knocked on the door, I said, come outside, look up in the sky, there's vultures. They're like, oh my God, what's that mean? I'm like, it means there's something dark in your house, and they're waiting for me to get rid of it so they can take it away. Just so happened they knew that already before they hired me to come do the house clearing. So no coincidences there. I was even doing a Ouija board ceremony where you bury the board and all, and the vulture came swooping down like it grabbed something and then took off. She definitely grabbed something, friends. She definitely grabbed something. Vulture energy is awesome. It's the same as the condor energy over there in Peru. Very powerful, extremely powerful. So going back to these layers being lifted up, over this past weekend, these layers that are being peeled, you might feel a little different the past few days. Have you noticed that? You might feel a little bit different, as you should. And remember, meditation is so very, very important during these times. Extremely vitally important during these times. Meditation is the key, friends. I've been saying it for decades. Meditation and dedication, very important. Again, especially during these times. As well as being willing to let go of old patterns and old things, addictions, relationships, or whatever you may have been holding on to for way too long now. This double 9 energy is all about that. All about getting rid of them. Now, I don't know what you're in personally, but the universal collective energies, of course, benefits all of us. Now, October opens up a whole new chapter for all of us, friends. And remember, we write our own chapters. You are the writer of your own book, your own destiny. So make it a good chapter, friends, because October is a reflection of next year, both personally and universally, when it comes to numerology. Universally, October is a one universal month for the year 2025. And the year 2026 is going to be a one universal year in numerology. The one, of course, is the beginning of the cycle, starting all over again. So it's all about new beginnings. It's all about new starts. So start something new in October, friends. Do things in October that you want to see more of in the year 2026. Whatever you want more of, take more. Say you want more time off, take more time off in October. Say you want to travel more, make sure you make some travels in the month of October. It will promote it for next year. Now, another powerful influence these September energies have on all of us is the way in which it will heighten our intuition. It will soon be having us seeing with much more clarity, friends. Perhaps a whole lot more clarity for some folks. Clarity, clarity, clarity. It's like you're getting the new eyeglass prescription, right? Your dreams are going to begin to become more intense. Your nighttime dreams, that is. Really more intense. You may even find that they're much more clear, besides intense. Especially, that all started a few weeks ago. So a few weeks ago, your dreams should have started to intensify, become more clear, more clarity. And that should continue over the next few weeks. So be aware of potential prophetic dreams, revealing dreams, dreams that are actually trying to tell you something. Also check in with your own clear dreams when it comes to your dreams of your future. Not nighttime dreams, but the dreams of your future. What is it you're trying to manifest? Remember, universe cannot help you reach a destination until you give universe the address. Not directions, but the address. Just like when you get into an Uber car, you do not give them directions. You give them an address. Universe is asking for the address. You don't have to be real specific. You'd be like, in the future, this is where I'm at. Don't try to figure out how. Don't try to figure out when. Be patient. Some things take longer to manifest than other things. You're also going to notice yourself asking the question often this month, what is it that I really want? What is it that I need to let go of, even more importantly? Or universe is going to flash it in your face so that you know what you need to let go of. And what is my true purpose? That's a big question I get with clients. What is my true purpose? Well, the answer to the true purpose question, it's pretty simple, friends, because it's all the same. Our purpose is all the same. We are here to experience. We are here to learn, to fulfill some soul contracts along the way, while hopefully using our free will and our ability to manifest to reach these higher levels of vibration, where happiness, abundance, and joy are all we know and all we believe. And this is actually more possible than you may actually believe it is. Again, meditation, dedication, dedicating yourself to shifting your mind and shifting your thoughts and focusing on your dreams. Focus on what you want instead of focusing on what you do not want. Now, this month, and back to these wild September energies that are happening, it's all about removing the layers and bringing about these huge reveals into the light. So much truth, friends. So much truth, so much corruption that's coming into the light. Many finally being held accountable while governments continue to collapse. Leaders continue to resign. And we move quicker and quicker towards that new earth vibration, that higher vibration. It'll be here before you know it. 7 years goes by pretty darn quickly. Now, another thing to mention here today, friends, is the 999 portal. Yes. And how do we come up with that? Well, first of all, we're in a 9 universal year in numerology. If you add the 2 plus 2 plus 5, it's a 9 year. September is a 9 universal month because you add the year to the month, and 9 plus 9 is 18, 8 plus 1 is 9. And today is the 9th day of the month. So that's the opening of this portal. Just the opening, friends, which offers us all more opportunity to let go of things and to do things and to do so with ease and joy. Let go of things with ease and joy. Now, there are 3 doorways to this portal. Today, September 9th, September 18th, being the midpoint of these portals, and then September 27th being the end point of this portal. So it just only begins. The 27th is when it begins to close. So take care of this window. Take advantage of this 2-week window that we have going on, 2.5 weeks, whatever it may be. And again, September is offering up these huge, giant conclusions, endings, even on, fortunately, major deaths of cycles or even people. Perhaps the death of a leader, as I predicted we would be saying. Not all literally either, more metaphorically than anything. We see the collapse of the French government that's happening. Nepal's burning after major protests. Have you seen that? They burned down the parliament there. The United Kingdom's falling apart. much like the rest of the world. France's government's collapsed again. And believe it or not, friends, it's all for the good of all, I assure you. It is all for the good of all. Everything must be taken down with a wrecking ball so that we can rebuild it in a way that is for the good of all, the good of everyone, and the good of everything. So hallelujah, we are in indeed really amazing times, even though it may not appear that way, but this is what needs to happen in order for the major change to come and in order for humanity to shift into that higher consciousness. And there will be some that won't do it. That's in the interview that I did with Shaman Puma that premieres tomorrow. Keep an eye out for that. Beautiful friends, beautiful tribe. I just want to take a moment to welcome you back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new here. My name's Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman JT, spiritual medium for over 3 decades, doing predictions for over 2 decades. If you want more information about me personally, you can go directly to my website, spiritmanjt.com or josephtittel.com, Tittel. Make sure you spell it right. Or just go to Spiritman JT. It takes you to the same place. That is where you can find all the information and where you can book appointments personally. Also, if you have comments or things that you want to leave, links, information, leave them down below in the comments down below. Do not send them through my private email. I appreciate that. Get too much email as is. Helps weed it out. And then your stuff isn't going to be seen anyway unless it's really left in the comments below. Also down below in the description, you'll find all the links to all my other social media platforms. You can find video shorts of predictions on TikTok and Instagram. You can find me all over the place. Spotify, Rumble. So check me out on those platforms. If you're on there, do please give me a follow. Also, I have 2 premieres coming up. Tomorrow night is the premiere of my interview with Shaman Puma in Peru. An amazing interview. I will show you a trailer of that later before we close today's show. And then also Thursday, I have a list of questions still to answer. I'll play some of them tonight because last week I did questions. And then when I went to edit the video, it would have been over 2 hours long, so I had to cut all of it out. A good bit of it anyway, half hour of it. So I'll add a little bit more of that in today. And then on Thursday, I'll premiere going through everybody's questions. And I got a lot of questions, so hold your questions for now because it's probably not going to get answered on the next episode. A lot of questions to answer. So we'll get through that. And all those questions mean lots of prediction. So you're going to want to make sure you tune into that. Other than that, a big thank you to all the supporters of this channel who make this free content possible for everybody else, whether you are a contributor to the channel, whether you're a member below on the YouTube channel, a member of the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit community, that link's down below in the description, or however you support this channel, I appreciate you with infinite love and gratitude. Couldn't do it without you. And I love to do what I love to do. Nothing better than that. Let us move on. This is episode 181. Moving up there in numbers, friends, of Teatime, baby. In my September forecast, and even in my September prediction video, I do 2 a month. It's a forecast and predictions, and then a separate prediction video. And in one of those, maybe perhaps both of them, I predicted that we would see so many collapses and so many falls of leaders and those in power during the month of September. And I will keep reminding you, friends, that we are in that double 9 vibration of endings. Huge, huge month this is. Equinox is coming. What's equinox symbolize? An ending. What does the eclipses signify? Endings and beginnings. So symbolic this month. Once again, bringing many of my predictions, past predictions, into fruition this very first week of the month. Starting with the Prime Minister of Japan, who resigned. While we're seeing another collapse of government that occurs in France with major protests. Just over a month ago, I predicted that Macron, would resign. And I did just see that I believe their prime minister resigned. But what about Macron? Yeah, he needs to go. There's a lot of controversy around him and a lot of truth that's going to be revealed around him and corruption, especially around his wifey, Brigitte. Yeah, there's a lot there, friends. A whole lot there. That's all already coming out. I think Candace Owens did a great job on exposing that. She wasn't the only one. I don't watch her, but I did listen to some of the exposure of that. It was quite fascinating, to say the least. Definitely truth. Hey, if you're going to be what you want to be, but at least be honest about it. That's all I say. Just be honest about it. But, apparently Brigitte, Michelle O.B., None of them can be honest. Oh well, they can live in the shadows of their lies. At least we don't have to live in it. And now this all clearly shows us, friends, exactly the direction that France is heading in. Exactly the direction they're heading in. I see many resignations and firings happening in France and other countries too, but France. And just today, when I was preparing all this content for you, I read that the Prime Minister, Francois Bayrou, submitted his resignation to President Emmanuel Macron on Tuesday after France's parliament ousted the government. Yeah, interesting, huh? You notice it's all the prime ministers that are resigning. Isn't that interesting? What about the leaders? What about the presidents? Yeah, they're still holding on tight, but that ain't going to last long. Not going to last long at all. And I see the same coming. And another thing that pops in my mind, we have to also really realize who's in charge when it comes to France, United Kingdom, and basically most of Europe and even Canada. Those leaders are not in charge. Who is? Do you know who is? Of course, you should know who is. We learned this in grade school. The crown, of course. You know, it used to be the queen, but the queen's not there anymore. Now it's the king, King Charles, who's also not well. And I expect there to be big collapses in that realm of the castle over there in Europe. Big problems there. And I know people think they want William in there, but you really think it's all part of they've been in control of the world for way too long. Going all the way back to the Knights of the Templar, friends. Maybe even before that. You know, and the Vatican and their connection to the Vatican and what they did with the Spaniards to the people of Peru, or the Incas, what they did here in the United States to the Native Americans. It all was connected to that web of darkness. The Vatican, the hierarchies, the kings, the queens, and all their little magicians that they have going for them. Yeah, that's where we really need to see strikes happen, and they will. Now, I see the same thing all coming for the United Kingdom as well. Starmer, is that his name? He is on his way out too. And hallelujah to you folks there, because you should be praising that. He needs to go. But, you know, what's the difference? If he goes, is someone else going to go into place? It's just going to be just as bad? Hopefully not. But he is on his way out. Starmer is on his way out, along with many others that are going to be forced out, fired. And I even see the death of some sort around one of the leaders in the United Kingdom. Not sure who. And I feel the same thing's going to be happening around Ireland, a demand for removal, a demand for resignations. And sadly, there's going to also be some senseless attacks on leaders in both those countries. Now, yeah, there's no reason to attack people physically, but I see that happening in Ireland, United Kingdom, probably in France too. Now, Canadians, because I know you're asking the question right now, but you're stuck with that guy for now. You are stuck with him for a while. And I know folks are going to be asking in the comments, Carney, when's he out? I told you that the other Fruit Loop would be out. What was his name? Trudeau. And he's out. I told you he would be. But it's almost like he's still in. Because Carney's, it's just not good. It's just not good, friends. And Carney's in his one personal year in numerology, which is all about new beginnings and new starts. So he's just starting out. And, you know, it doesn't mean the 1 year. It doesn't mean he's stable in the 1 year. The 1 year, you're kind of all over the place trying to figure things out. So maybe he will figure things out. He's still got time according to the numbers. And as bad as it's going to get for Canadians, I don't see him budging anytime soon at all. He's not going anywhere. So you're kind of stuck with him for a bit. Now, we know there's also a push to change the leadership of Venezuela. All, you know, for good reason, they say, actually. And I tapped in and asked the spirits, and they actually did confirm that Maduro is definitely a huge part of the cartel. So that's actually true. But at the same time, Spirit shows me this is actually not really about that. It's actually about cashing in on their reserves, the oil, the minerals. Perhaps we can say that there's a double agenda here, friends. You know, a double agenda here. Maduro is a Sagittarius. He happens to be in his 7th year in numerology, which is about spiritual ascension and shifting. And, you know, November could be really intense. So the next Mercury retrograde, pre-shadow, begins in the sign of Scorpio on October 21st for you Scorpions out there. And that's going to be just the pre-shadow Mercury retrograde in Scorpio until November 8th. Then we go into the direct stillness of the Mercury in the sign of Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, look out, y'all, because that's going to be from the 9th of November until the 28th of November. That's the direct heavy energy. That's also in that window of time where the next and final energy shift of the year is going to take place. And as you know, I warn you about these and have been for years. They're always super intense. Now, back to the whole Scorpio in play. Scorpio goes back into the post-shadow from the 29th of November till December 17th. So now, November for Maduro is going to be a 9 personal vibration for him. While we also have Mercury in retrograde during his own birth sign. And his birthday is on the 23rd of November, Maduro. So he's first day of Sagittarius, friends. First day of Sagittarius. Again, he's in his 7 year. November, 7 + 1 + 1 is 9. That puts him in his 9 personal month. That's not looking very good for Maduro, friends. Not a very good alignment. You know, you could look at his astrological chart too. I have not. But you can, and I bet you there's stuff there too. Not a good mix when it comes to there being a price on your head. Definitely not a good mix. Doesn't say much. I mean, I'd be surprised he'd make it to November, but you know, many people do pass right before or sometimes right after their birthdays. Have you ever noticed that? I've noticed that. I had a friend the day before his birthday, another friend a couple weeks before her birthday. It seems to be common. And I believe that's because our soul contracts are based on the zodiac, on the astrological calendar. So, you know, if there's nothing left in your soul contracts, you end before your birthday. That's why I tell you all the time, friends, your birthday is the most powerful day of the year. If you have a birthday coming up, make sure you check out my video, Most Powerful Day of the Year. So today I'm going to predict that Maduro will most likely be taken out in some form or another, likely by assassins, between late October and early November. And it would make total sense to his numbers. It would make complete sense to his numbers. Don't know how that's going to play out, but... And I feel, too, I'm getting this feeling that they're not going to tell us that he's passed. They're going to make it look like he's still alive when he's really not. So I think this would be some kind of direct explosion being sent. You know how America likes to do that, likes to blow up their homes or wherever they may be hiding. And they'll probably say he got away and he wasn't there, but really he was. Why some other backup government tries to go into place to fight. Interesting. Chaos in Venezuela. It's just what those people need. They don't need that. None of us need that. None of us need that. Now, in my interview that I did last month when I was traveling the Andean mountains, I did an interview with Andean Shaman Puma, as I've told you about before. I just finished editing and putting it together. He happened to speak in that video about new leadership and major changes coming with leaders. That interview, again, is going to premiere tomorrow evening. And I'll show you a short trailer by the end of today's show. So keep an eye out for that before we end today's podcast. Now, I also predicted that we would be seeing more and more people rising up and stepping into their power. Some deciding to step right into chaos, but hey, whatever. Which is only just going to bring about, of course, more protests and the protests going very sour, as we have been seeing. Protests across the globe are happening, friends, and they're getting larger and larger from New Zealand to Australia, across the globe. Excuse me. France, England, Spain, Austria, Poland, Nepal. I mean, and the list keeps growing, friends. And in Nepal, have you seen this one? I believe after they attempted to ban social media, that's what happened. And you can't do that to Gen Zers, man. They're crazy. You can't take their social media or their phones away, and that's what they did in Nepal. And there are other concerns, I believe, too. This appears to be another apocalyptic scene of craziness played out as if it's the zombie apocalypse, with people that took to the streets and they got very, very angry. They brought their torches. Along with them, those torches, they ignited leaders' homes ablaze. And then they finalized by rushing into the parliament to set that ablaze, as you see in the video clip. Now they're saying this is all Gen Z. Gen Z friends, aren't they the ones that don't like to work? I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. What year's Gen Z? Aren't they in their like 20s now? Because let me tell you, their worth ethic, not all of them. Again, we don't put everybody in one category because that's not fair. But they're not like we were when we were younger. Man, I had my first job when I was 12 years old delivering newspapers. Worked in a restaurant when I was 14 years old, I believe. So, yeah, sold pretzels on the streets of Philadelphia. Done all kinds of things for money when we were in our teens. Shoveled people's snow. You can't get these kids to shovel your snow for you today. It's interesting. But that's what they're saying. They're saying this to Gen Zs that are very angry that they took their social media away. And they should be. You know, who are they to just start stripping? Again, that's stripping your rights. And, them not wanting to work hard, that's a different story. And it's just a thought. Regardless, this is people, friends. This is people stepping up against totalitarian control over the people. We need to do this because, that's the WEF's whole agenda, as we know, the 2030 agenda. And this in turn in Nepal caused their prime minister to resign. Told you it's the week of prime minister resignations, like crazy amount. And I'm sure it's probably a good thing, of course, for the folks of Nepal. They need that, deserve that, especially if they banned everything like that. If they're banning social media, they don't want you to tell the truth. That's what that's all about. We know that. That's, again, goes back to totalitarian control. As long as, their new leader goes into place, truly has their highest interest at heart. And they can hold that in the light, manifest that, and make that happen. Now, friends, we only just stepped into the second week of September. Today's the 9th when I'm recording this, and you should be watching this. Hopefully it'll be done in time and edit it. And then today's that 999 portal. So I tell you to expect surprising resignations. There's lots more to come, friends. Many folks being fired and let go. Companies claiming bankruptcy and letting folks go. And more suddenly becoming overwhelmed. People suddenly becoming overwhelmed with anger against the government and taking to the streets, as they do. So I expect this to start happening on a higher level here in the United States because we haven't seen it on a high level. Protests in New York City. I see chaotic protests in Chicago. And the list is just going to continue to grow. Larger and larger and larger as this month progresses. Including, that just popped in my mind, big protests at universities. And I see like riot people going in, even though they don't really need to go in, to disrupt things. So that's definitely Trump sending them in to disrupt things. Again, control. If it's a peaceful protest, they should be allowed to protest, especially on a college campus. If they are a part of that college, though. Here's the other thing. They hold all these protests, and all these outsiders go into protests and cause all these issues. If it's the college kids protesting, they have a right to do that. They should be able to do that. This is supposed to be a free country. Now, another very strange thing that's been happening goes over to our friends over there in Germany. Were you at all aware of this, friends? Because this is really creepy. Are you aware that there have been 16 political figures who now have mysteriously and suddenly started dropping like flies in just a short 2-week period of time? All just before Germany's big elections. Coincidence, friends? What do you think? Do you think it's coincidence? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and everybody else wants to know what you think in the comments down below, but I don't believe in coincidences, and I think I might have an article here on this. I showed you a little article there, but I think I have more on that. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. How did 16 politicians pass one after another before German local elections? Authorities reveal truth. Local authorities reveal truth. This is just crazy. German politicians' death mystery. In a shocking development, ahead of Germany's local elections, 16 politicians contesting the polls scheduled for September 14th in North Rhine-Westphalia have passed away in recent weeks, triggering a flood of conspiracy theories. Of course, they're always going to say conspiracy theory, aren't they, friends? Always. Yeah, oh, it's a conspiracy, which means there must be truth behind it. And political speculation across the country, election officials confirmed the deaths on Thursday, dismissing claims of foul play and stressing that the figures were not statistically abnormal given the large pool of candidates. Come on now, really? Really? Dismissing claims of foul play and stressing that the figures were not statistically abnormal. 16 people in less than 2 weeks, friends. One of the 16 deceased candidates, 7 belonged to the far-right alternative, the AFD party, while the rest represented a spectrum of political groups, including the Social SPD, Social Democrats, Greens Free Democratic Party, Animal Welfare Party, and blah, 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 blah. Friends, I tell you all the time, there's no such thing as coincidence. No way, no how. What do you think in the comments down below? I warned earlier this year that we would see sabotage again around underwater cables, internet cables, outages, and underwater pipelines, like we saw with the Nord Stream pipeline last year. We can choke that one up to Biden. Boom, boom. We know that's where that happened. Now, I warned about this again. I believe it was just last week. Also, due to all the water transits that are currently ringing in, we had, the Pisces alignment on the 1st. We just had the lunar eclipse in Pisces. We got all this water stuff happening. So I just warned you just within the past week or two. Well, probably just the past week because I was gone 2 weeks ago. I wasn't here. I was out of country. But I warned you that these transits currently ringing in would have these major effects on everything and anything beneath or upon the waters, below, upon, or within the waters. Now, I also warned of major internet outages, and lo and behold, friends, major internet outages hit across Asia and the Middle East. After an underwater cable, internet cable that is, was somehow severed in the Red Sea. Now, of course, there's a debate and speculation as to whether it was natural or whether it was sabotage. And I have no doubt, friends, I have no doubt that this was purposeful sabotage. Only because in my past predictions, I said that was going to happen, that people were going to sabotage the internet cables and other things beneath the sea. And I cannot help but to feel, friends, that Russia is somehow tied to this in some form or another. Maybe helping out in the background. I don't feel like Russia did it, don't get me wrong. I just feel like they're helping out in some way. They have somewhat little responsibility in it. Take it for what it's worth. That's my strong intuitive feeling. Now, I also told you last week about the folks on the island of Gotland in Sweden, where I actually have friends that live there. Their internet cables were severed, I think it was last year. First it was their internet cables. That was followed by sabotage that happened to their incoming water lines to Gotland on the island. And recently, I just told you this, I think, last week's show. We talked about them losing power due to issues with underwater cables. That's definitely Russia, by the way. That one definitely is. That's them directly. And we're going to hear so much more because, that's a big route right there past Scotland that they go through. Yeah, that was Russia. They want that island. They're not going to get it, but they want it. And now this is going on for the next few weeks with the water thing until the end of the year. So I tell you, friends, keep an eye and be prepared for the month of November. That is going to be a super powerful month when it comes to sabotage, when it comes to outages, power outages, internet outages, and so forth. November could likely be the month where I saw a city going completely dark in the nighttime. Now, last time I saw a city go dark, we saw what happened over there in Spain and France and all that earlier this year. But I saw another city going dark, and I can't help but to think that it's New York City. Kind of looks like it in the horizon, just going dark. And this would be right around dusk or in the nighttime because it's just I see it lit up. Whereas the other one was during the daytime, or at least when it went out over there in Europe. So lots of outages, power, internet, and so forth. But again, friends, do not panic. Especially, you Gen Z folks out there. Not that we get many Gen Z watchers, but if you're a Gen Z, don't panic. Sometimes it's good that you don't have access to social media. Sometimes it's good to put your phone down for a little while. Don't freak out like they did in Nepal when social media was, well, it was banned over there, so it's a different story. But if it just goes out, don't panic. I know when Facebook goes down, people panic. Anything goes down, people panic. Don't panic. Remember me telling you, this is all temporarily. All temporary, friends. All temporary, so be patient. The 7 years of tribulation, friends, that only just kicked off this year, in my opinion. I did a video on it back in 2016, 2017, based on what I got in meditation, 2025 to 2032. And it all is going to lead us to a new earth and a higher vibration. And as you know, time flies, friends, even when you're not having fun. So 2032 is going to be here much quicker than it may currently feel or appear to be. Now, also, last week, friends, as you know, China had their huge parade celebration to honor the ending of World War II, inviting many leaders, of course. Except, of course, they didn't invite Donald Trump. President Trump was not invited. I think he's probably pretty bitter about that. Actually, I know he's bitter about that. Hey, he should be bitter about that. Because, Putin was there, Kim Jong-un was there, and even the leader of India was there kissing up to the leader of China, of course. That's not going to last either. That's going to backfire on India. They're just trying to kiss up because they share a border. It's not going to work out between them, unfortunately. Now Trump's social media response. Did you see his? I'm sure you did by now. I mean, this was a week ago. Many people have their panties in a bunch over this. I find it personally to be funny, concerning, but also a bit true. You can't deny the truth of this. What do you say? Many Americans died in China's quest for victory and glory. I hope that they are all rightfully honored and remembered for their bravery and sacrifice. May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great lasting day of celebration. This is the best part, friends. Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America. He's a Gemini, friends. Geminis say off-the-wall bizarre stuff. They don't care. I mean, just make that note, friends. He's a Gemini. So is actually Xi Jinping. He's also a Gemini. Actually, Xi Jinping is born the day after Trump. And again, Trump's definitely a true Gemini. Because you know what? Geminis are really known, a true Gemini, for saying random off-the-wall things. Even if it's completely likely truth, but it doesn't matter. It's still off the wall. They have actually been conspiring against the United States for some time now. So again, he's not lying. They are doing that. They have been doing that. Many countries have. And as I told you all in the past, Russia's going to back out in the end on China. They're going to really piss China off quite a bit. And India right now, they're just confused. They're just confused right now and angry at God knows what. And the current leader of China, Xi Jinping, is on his way out. On his way out, friends. May I also note that he's a Gemini too? Yeah, he's born the day after Trump. So how interesting is that? We got Trump born on the 14th, and we got Xi Jinping born on the 15th of June. Two Geminis, friends. Two Geminis that are never going to vibe with one another. Now, I knew two Geminis, my friend's parents, married together forever, two Geminis, but they're not, one might be typical Gemini, the other one isn't. It depends really what your ascendant, your moon, and other aspects of your chart are. But these two guys, they're definitely true Geminis. True Geminis. Now, I don't know if Xi Jinping says off-the-wall stuff. He probably does. I mean, he was talking about organ harvesting and such to Putin in their hot mic. So, yeah, that's kind of a little off-the-wall conversation to have with a leader that just came to visit you for a parade. So next year, Xi Jinping steps into his 4 vibration, which can bring about health issues for some. We can look back. Queen Elizabeth passed in her 4 year. That's how I told you. I knew she was going to pass that year. I said it in the beginning of the year. This is her year. She's in her 4. She's not going to make it. I think I even said April. I think she did pass in April, which is also a 4. It would have been her 8, but regardless, April, May. Now, likely, this is what's going to happen to Xi Jinping next year, and perhaps around May of next year, prior to his next birthday, because May of next year would be his 9 vibration of endings, death of cycles, And things can come to big endings right before your birthday, including your life. Remember, I just said recently, he's in very bad health. He's not in good health. None of them are. All the leaders are, not all, but a majority of leaders are in very bad health. I find that very interesting. Don't you find that interesting? Trump's in bad health. Xi Jinping's in bad health. Kim Jong-un's in bad health. Spirit said Macron will be in bad health soon due to the high amounts of stress that he's dealing with. That's putting pressure on his chest, so there might be some hard stuff around Macron. Now, you also know about the alleged hot mic that I just mentioned between Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin's conversation. And it was more Xi Jinping talking about it. So what were they really discussing, friends? Well, you know, it's kind of disturbing. They were discussing living longer using new organs, allegedly. We know that China is the biggest harvester of such, allegedly, alongside of the cabal, allegedly. So I got to keep saying that, entertainment purposes only, friends. Entertainment purposes only. Now, I don't feel at all that Putin's on board with that, by the way. I feel like it disgusts him. That was the feeling I got from him. Like, not that he wouldn't get a transplant to save his life. Of course, who wouldn't? But about harvesting and the way he's doing it, Putin's not for that. Especially means Putin comes off as being a religious Christian kind of man. He comes off that way. I mean, so did the cartel, right? Cartel's always at church. Cartel are mostly Catholic, actually. Interesting. No coincidence there either. But Putin comes off to be a religious Christian man. While, China's eliminating Christians by the thousands. Now in China, the Christians have to hide underground. I think the Muslims too. I mean, they're just like crucifying them all over there in China. Wiping them out. Wipe out religion. That's what they're doing. Not cool. Not cool at all. And who knows, who else has to hide underground over there? We see the same thing happening right now in Syria. Syria is taking you outside, and if you're Christian, they will dismember you into many, many little tiny pieces right in public. I mean, I saw a video of it that was so disturbing. I couldn't even believe there was a video like that on the internet, but I guess there is. I saw it. A friend sent it to me. I was like, that's so awful. Syria is just doing the same thing, friends. I told you all years ago that this was going to happen to Christians and other religions too, but mainly Christians. And sadly, that's exactly what's happening. Exactly. We're now seeing gold also at the same time reaching these all-time highs. And that's only going to continue to rise. So if you bought silver back when I told you, Spirit told us 3 to 4 years ago, I think it was 2021, 2022, and you cashed it in now, you'd more than double your money. But don't cash it in now yet, friends. Because remember, Spirit told us silver is the best long-term investment. And not everyone can afford gold. And long-term investment, Spirit says if it's a long-term investment, silver. Short-term investment, buy gold if you can afford it. It's only going to go higher. I saw last night a vision of gold at $4,400 an ounce. And I told you at least a year ago, I see silver going up into the hundreds eventually, probably by 2030. Now, what does it mean when silver and gold skyrocket? According to some, it means there's going to be major conflict in the world. Another WW3, perhaps. Now, I also told you we're already in WW3. No matter how you look at it, it's happening on some form or another. But it's not going to be the doom and gloom that people are making it out to be. Of course, there always is with any kind of conflict. Any kind of conflict. Need a little bit of agua. Always. Especially with the type of weapons that they use today. Remember, did you see President Trump come out and say, we have weapons that you would never imagine that can bring so much destruction? And he ain't lying. He is not lying. Now, over the weekend, we saw Russia bombing embassies now in Ukraine. Not cool, Russia. Trump's coming at you. That's not good for any of us, but it's coming. Remember my fire visions of Moscow, and it's going to escalate, and eventually Russia's going to likely, either Russia or Israel, probably Israel actually, will be the ones that use a small tactical nuke. I've seen visions of it, and it's still on the table according to the spirits. Now, over the weekend, too, sadly, there was a fear attack in Israel. I don't want to see that anywhere. I like Israelis. I just don't like their government, or at least their leader anyway. And I bet most of you do not either. I don't like any leaders, actually. I don't think there's one leader I could say I like. Nope. Nope. Not really. I feel like they're all puppets to the royals, basically, and to the cabal. But anyway, there was a horrible fear attack. I think last I read, there were at least 5 people taken out, over a dozen injured, shots fired at a bus depot in Israel. That's sad. It's just so sad. I don't like to see harm come to anybody, no matter what. You don't have to like the people. I mean, I like the people of Israel. I just, again, don't like their leader very much. I like all people until they give me a reason not to like them. But that's what's happening in the world, friends. And not only that, now we have a new date. Yeah, date. You and me, we got a date, baby. Tomorrow night for the premiere of Puma. No, but really a new date apparently for the rapture that's coming this month now. I don't know how many times in my lifetime I heard the rapture was coming, but now it's coming supposedly on September 23rd. Yeah, that's not happening. By the way, that's not happening. I don't know who made up that date. September 23rd rapture? Nope, not happening. Not happening at all. And really, what is the rapture, friends? What is it? Well, my spirit's take on it is the rapture is not anything of what people believe it is. It's not Jesus coming down and taking you away in a UFO or any other thing and leaving everybody else behind to suffer. It's not going to happen that way. Freddie Puma doesn't explain the Shaman Puma, not the rapture, but he explains the ascension to the new earth and how, and I've told you this before, many will be left behind. Some ancestral lineages will die off as we step into the new earth. And what it is a higher vibration, a much higher vibration. And yeah, I guess when people reach a higher vibration, they kind of may disappear, where the lower vibrational people just ain't seeing that anymore. Kind of like with Shaman Puma explaining the dimensional beings, the aliens that are all around us. They're all around us. You just can't see them because they're in a higher vibration. When we reach that higher vibration, we'll be able to have interaction and communication with them, as some people are already having. And not only that, we only just stepped into my belief of tribulation, the 7 years of tribulation. I got that information in a video, in a meditation when I was doing my 2017 predictions, or 2018, one of those years. But I have a video called Tribulation that I did right after that. And that's when I first went to Peru in 2018, and I mentioned this to Shaman Puma, and he got that same window of time. I asked him about that again in the interview too, so you're going to definitely want to make that interview. We're in a 9-year of endings. It would make sense 2025 would be the start of Revelation, or I'm not Revelation, but Tribulation. And think about this, 2029, April 2029, is when we will have the comet Apophis go by the Earth, very close to the Earth. That's 3.5 years into it. Because they say that tribulation doesn't start in January on the new year. It actually starts in October. So next month actually would start this whole state of tribulation. 3.5 years from then, we have that April 13th date in 2029 of Apophis. And then 3.5 years after that, we have what? 2032. Makes complete sense. 2032 is a 7-year of spiritual ascension. Rising up, friends, rising up to ascension. And that period, 2025 to 2032, is 7 years. So if we look at the numerological aspect to it, it is 7 years of tribulation. And things are pretty tribulating right now in the world right now, friends. And it's not even October, because some say we don't really step into it till October, because October is technically it's the last day of the month. I forget what it is. But April is actually the beginning of the new year, because the Gregorian calendar that we follow was changed by Pope Gregory II to manipulate the original calendars of 13 months, by the way. So it makes sense that April's the first month only because we have spring equinox, and spring equinox is at the beginning. It's the new beginning, just like the number 1. Makes complete sense. Complete sense. But anyway, that's my take on the tribulation and the whole rapture thing. Also, the whole return of Jesus Christ. People think he's going to come down and take you by your hand and take you away. It's a consciousness thing, friends. It's a vibrational thing. It's the Jesus consciousness. See, Jesus doesn't need to come physically back to the earth. Jesus just needs to come to us on a personal level, divinely, energetically, consciously, raising us up to what is referred to as the Jesus consciousness, that higher level of pure love, the level that we will all be in when those of us that reach the new earth by, I hope 2032 is the date, sometime in 2032, probably late 2032. But that's where it comes from. I had an amazing Jesus experience again in my ayahuasca journey last month. Amazing. And I wouldn't call him Jesus. I called him Christ because he was Christ. There was a difference. I don't know why there was a difference, but there was a difference. And I'll tell you all about that when I do my next ayahuasca video and do the whole documentary on my whole trip to Peru. But for now, tomorrow we'll premiere the interview with Shaman Puma. It's a good interview. You're going to like it a lot. Now, last thing I have for you, two last things, is first I have Bill Gates was banned from South Africa. Yay, South Africa, go y'all, go. Why was he banned? Well, he did the same thing there that he did in Key West, Florida, or in Florida, dumping millions of genetically modified mosquitoes into the area, allegedly to defend and kill the mosquitoes that spread disease like malaria and all the other mosquito-borne illnesses. And you remember, I talked about this a few years ago after he dumped all those mosquitoes in the United States, and there was a big uptick in malaria and other mosquito-borne illnesses afterwards. In Texas, Louisiana, Florida, big spike in the numbers. You dump the mosquitoes that are supposed to do the opposite, and it's not working. It's doing the opposite and bringing more disease. That's exactly what happened in South Africa. Same exact thing. They noticed huge spikes, and that's why they banned him from South Africa. So go South Africa. That man has his hands in too many things. Meeting with the president here in the United States, just creepiness. Creepiness. When is his birthday? When is Bill Gates' birthday? October 28th. Oh, he's one of them bad Scorpios. Oh, 8, 9, 10, 11. He's in his 2 year, so it doesn't really tell us much. There's good ones and there's bad ones. He just obviously is one of the bad ones. Go figure. I should have known. I have a fight against Scorpio in this neighborhood. And I have a friend that's an amazing Scorpio. A niece that's an amazing Scorpio. Just, not to put everybody in the same category. As I told you, don't put all the people in the same category. Because it really depends on their moon and their rising and such. But that's what's happening with Bill. He's only in his 2 years. So I would expect something could come up with his health in the month of November as well. Now, don't wish that on him. Remember, wish good things on people because that's what comes back to you. And let us move on with You've Got Mail. Because I did get a few packages this week that I'm grateful for. First one comes from April in Ohio. Ohio! I did open this. Now I can't seem to open it again. There we go. April, you sent me some really cool stuff. First, April sent me some Egyptian blue lotus whole flowers. Look how beautiful they are. Now, I have some blue lotus flowers, but they aren't as purple and beautiful as these. They look brown and faded, so I'm going to be throwing them away. These are great for tea, especially to help you relax, to help you chill out. Great. And these ones are Egyptian blue lotus. Good stuff. It can be used as a sedative. It has sedative-like properties. And it's an aphrodisiac. Yeah, just what I need. Well, thank you. Oh, shoot, and throwing things at you. That's awesome. She also sent me this really awesome raven statue. It's made out of marble, maybe? Now, I have one of these on my, not this one on the altar, but this will be added to my collection. The raven, even the crow, the smartest bird on the planet, they say. That is awesome, April. Thank you. I thought I had a card here from you somewhere. Oh, wait, April sent this. I didn't even see this till now. Oh, yeah. Wow, look at that. She sent this awesome silver coin from, I guess, it looks like the queen on there. But look what's on the back. I don't know if you can see that quite well. Spidey. Me and Mama Spider. Yeah, I love Mama Spider. She comes into my classes with Shamanic Journey all the time. If you saw my ayahuasca video last month about Mama Spider. And then April also sent me this very powerful flashlight. Always helpful. Again, I tell you all have flashlights in already. I have to charge this baby and get it ready. But thank you, April, so much. April, and I thought I had a card here from you, but I do not. It's probably in my house. My apologies. Thank you, April. I appreciate you with infinite love and gratitude. Wow, $20 to mail a package. Jeez. Thank you for that, too. Thank you for going out of your way. That means so much to me. So much. And then I have this coming from Carrie K. in Ontario, Canada. Ottawa to be exact. Ottawa, Canada. She sent me some pretty awesome stuff here. First, starting with from Canada, Carrie K. Hope you enjoy these. I'm writing with a sore hand. That's cute. With a beautiful picture, probably of Canada. I haven't opened these yet, but she sent me these really cool spirit animal cards. I have some different spirit animal cards, but I don't have this. Is that cards? Oh, wait. No. Spirit animals. The bison. Oh, wait a second. I thought these were cards. No, this is even cooler than cards. Wow, I never seen anything like this before. It's silver, friends. It's a silver bison collector's piece. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad I opened that. I thought they were cards when I first looked at it. Wow, that is so friggin' awesome. In the box and everything. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that silver. I love my silver. She sent me a couple silvers, actually, friends. Look at this cool silver, too. Another collector, so I love my silver. This one's awesome. I think I have one of these already from somebody that sent it. No, I don't have one like this because this has the Zodiac on the back of it. I'm pretty sure this is 2 ounces because it's heavy. With the Queen on there again. Wow, you are so generous to me. Thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you so much. With infinite love and gratitude, it's my birthday. Hallelujah. And I got another one over here. This one comes from Isabel. What country is this? Oh, Oklahoma. It's not a country, it's a state. And hi, Joseph. I've been following you every week since episode 20-something. Every Wednesday morning, I had bought you one of my favorite chocolates, but then I remembered that Arizona is super hot and the chocolate it would melt. I ordered these because I order seasonings, and I ordered this bag of chocolate-covered walnuts or something like that, and they were all stuck together. I didn't even think about it. Whereas I used to order honey, and they would never send in the wintertime to Arizona. So good thing you didn't send chocolate. Good thing. But instead, I bought you a bell from Crete. It is made of bronze and is inspired by the legend of the Minotaur, who guarded the labyrinth of Gnosis in Crete. Love, Isabel. Oh, love back to you, Isabel. This is a very cool thing, but you sent me chocolate mix. I can't wait to try this. It's still a little warm out. I'm going to save this till it gets hot. But she sent me this dark cocoa chocolate. I can't wait to try that. I love me some good chocolate. And this bell is really cool, and I will use this actually on my altar in ceremony. Check them out. Woo! Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. You are so generous to me. And then someone sent me a book. And this comes from Lisa Ann. Lisa Ann. I just wanted to say I've been enjoying your videos, and I am sure you can handle knowing what you know. I'm not sure how you can handle knowing what you know. It must be overwhelming at times. Actually, I plug in and unplug. I used to eat me up when I was younger. I used to get obsessed with the visions I had. I learned to unplug from it. I'm sending you a copy of my first book. I started writing again after my husband passed away. So some of this is about that and mixed up world and the fight between the both. I'm sorry your husband passed. That sucks. Excuse my language. Yeah, there's nothing worse than like the loss of loved ones, especially people who lose their kids. I mean, I've been dealing with that my whole life, connecting people with their kids and their spouses and so forth. And it's an amazing honor, amazing healing that comes from it. So I wish you the very, very much best. I am not technically savvy, so I am not doing this old school and trying to get the word out. I am just sowing my seed and hoping God takes care of the rest. God is taking care of the rest, for sure, Lisa Ann. I hope that you are able to help this window out. And thank you for your time. Beautiful transformations. Beautiful transformation. Thank you, Lisa. And thank all of you with infinite love and gratitude for your love, your support, and the wonderful little cute, awesome presents, actually. Awesome stuff today. Awesome stuff today. Awesome stuff. Now I'm going to play a clip from you to end this show. 2 clips. First, this comes from last week's show. I had to cut it out because the show would have been over 2 hours long. So I'll probably have to cut more of it out today. But here's some of the questions and me addressing some of your questions in the comments below. Check it out. Now, Angel in the chat is saying, Angel 452, hi Joseph, question. How can we survive the earth shifts that are coming? Have you been enlightened to where to be? As I live in Queensland, Australia. Here's the thing, friends. You should not be so overly worried and concerned about these earth shifts. Because if you are, you're going to end up manifesting yourself being right in the center of it all. What I would recommend is many clients come to me asking where they should go is the first thing you should do is look at your astrocartography. Astrocartography. That's when you put your birthday and time in, and it basically gives you a map with the lines of the planets and where you should really reside. Spirit told me to move here to Arizona, and then I looked at my astrocartography, and it just so happens that one of my lines go right through Sedona, Arizona. And I never felt so much at home. Whereas, I grew up in Pennsylvania, love Pennsylvania and New Jersey, but I have no lines there. So even though it's home, it doesn't feel as homely as it does here. It's hard to explain until you're within those lines. The most important thing is to live your life to the fullest and to go somewhere that brings you complete joy and happiness. Because when you're enjoying happiness, it isn't going to matter. If the earth swallows you up, then so it is. You'll be fine with that. I did do a video, however, called Billionaire Bunkers and Safe Zones. I'll try to remember to have it up above, down below in the description, or you can go to my channel and look it up. Billionaire Bunkers and Safe Zones. That video is very thorough, including maps that have been channeled through allegedly by different people as to what the world is going to look like after the shifts and the rising of the oceans. That can give you an idea of areas to go to if you're really concerned about that. If you feel content where you live and you're happy where you live, stay where you're at. Just always be prepared. Always have an escape plan just in case. A little blow-up raft in case things flood out. And just food, water, so that if there is a crisis or an earth event that happens, you and your family have enough food and water to last you at least a week or two. Really important. If you're prepared and not scared, you'll be good. And be sure to check out that video, Billionaire Bunkers and Safe Zones. Now, as Starlight, Star So Bright, says, I've had 2 dreams about San Francisco International Airport and a tsunami. Will there be a tsunami in San Francisco? Thank you, Joseph. Sending love from the UK. Wait a second, you had dreams about San Francisco, but you're in the United Kingdom? Interesting. That could be more symbolic than anything. For you personally. I would look up, do you have any connection to San Francisco? Now, what I get out of this is back in the day, I had visions a couple years ago also of the San Francisco Bridge swinging back and forth and being temporarily closed due to damage, which to me was definitely earthquake related. So yes, definitely earthquakes that are going to rock San Francisco, maybe even in the very near future. As far as tsunamis are concerned, tsunamis are going to be another thing that become an unfortunate common ground. They're going to become more and more prominent, more and more common. We're going to see more of them, especially all along the west coast of the United States and even all the way down to Chile, to that whole west coast of North and South America. It's not going to matter where you are when it comes to the waters. I didn't see visions of tsunamis hitting San Francisco as much as I saw the bridge swinging back and forth. So I don't have any concerns for that in the near future. But as we approach those time periods of 2029 to 2031, especially 2029 when that comet Apophis comes swinging by on Friday, April 13th, 2029, that's going to shift things greatly. That's going to bring in a lot of tsunamis and a lot of other things. But I wouldn't be concerned about that in the near future. And thank you for your question. Awesome, friends. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed the answers to those questions, and I will be addressing the rest of the questions on Thursday. So look out for Thursday's video because questions come with a lot of predictions. So you want to make sure you catch those predictions on Thursday's broadcast. Keep an eye out for it. Should be Thursday. That's what I'm shooting for. Sometimes hopefully the forks are thrown in my road. Now, lastly, I want to show you this very short 3-4 minute trailer of the interview with Puma that premieres tomorrow.
I believe that the next 7 years, regardless of how challenging they can be, we have the capacity to make it epic. We have the capacity to make it gentle on ourselves. And we have the capacity to even change a lot of these difficult processes for the whole planet. And according to our prophecies, at the beginning of this new millennia, we have entered into what we call the new earth, the new times, the new cycles. In Quechua, that is called Pachacuti. It's a major Pachacuti. I have been witnessing miraculous changes, powerful transformation that have had an amazing ripple effect throughout the planet, mostly with the energy of leadership. I have initiated with this powerful medicine, powerful leaders who in their own circles, in their own community. And the truth is perhaps some of the generations living here on Mother Earth will never catch up. They will just live as the last unevolved human generation which were here before this new millennia. But as of 2012, all the children that are arriving, they're coming for this new Pachacuti. They're coming with a different genetic coding, with a different preparation psychologically, emotionally for these new times. Whatever is in these plants and in all of the medicinal plants in the world, it's already within you. But it is already within you, not activated, not awake as a powerful ancient spirit. So what these plants do is they alchemize within your physical temple these powerful. So that's a good one. You know, we don't do ayahuasca. We are working with a very powerful spirit ally. You know, like I'm talking with you, ayahuasca talks with you. And in these conversations, often it's all about what you want to make happen in this life. And that spirit is inside you for the rest of your life. Even just with a prayer, even just with intent, you can call on it. And it will always be there for you as a spirit guide, as a guardian, as a powerful healer.
Do you see us in the future connecting with our galactic brothers and sisters here on Earth?
Even right now, we are in that powerful connection. It's just not happening at the mass levels because our consciousness is, our mind rather, is not ready. In the near future, this will be changing. We are becoming what we call translucid beings, meaning our light vibration will be of a much higher frequency, and we will be able to not only see them, but also talk with them. They could be going in front of you. They could be right by your side, but you don't see them, you don't feel them because you are not in the same frequency. So it is happening right now. It always happened, and I believe it's going to be happening even more. I have had the privilege of working with youth that have been exposed to all kinds of drugs, synthetic drugs, and in some cases survivors of even overdoses. And all of us have these soul contracts, which we are constantly changing with our willpower. So we need to use that free will constantly. These plants are not from Mother Earth. These powerful spirits have arrived from the stars. Some time ago, they were brought to our planet with a specific purpose.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for the great gifts. Thank you for your love and your support. Just thank you for being here and spending a little time with me and spending a little time for yourself. It's important to absorb the energies and vibe with the tribe. And if you're new here again and you want to vibe with the tribe, be sure to smash the subscribe, the bell, and all so that you get notifications. And always check in on your notifications and make sure you're still notified. Someone just said in the comments that they were taken off of the notifications. Nothing surprises me. People aren't always notified when they should be. People are mysteriously unsubscribed, so always check in on your subscription. And a big thank you to all the supporters of the channel, all the members of the channel below, the subscribers, and the subscribers of the Subscribe Star platform. Again, I thank you for helping make this free content possible for everybody else. Until the next time, friends, which will be tomorrow night in the premiere, hope to see you there. And until then, remember, be bold, be true, be kind. Be you, baby. Let that light shine ever so brightly. And have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste, friends, and much love. Much love.